The full roster for Khorne, the angriest, reddest band to ever come out of Coachella, has been revealed for Total War Warhammer 3. The Blood God thirsts, the Skull Throne hungers, and the forces of Khorne venture to the battlefield for its harvest. They're single-minded, bloody, and nearly unstoppable, defined by their distinct hatred of and resistance to all kinds of magic. The cowardice of ranged combat also has little appeal to them, beyond the exception of cannons, which don't count for reasons we'll get to in a minute. Once they get going, Khorne's forces will cleave the heads from any and all they find in their never-ending quest to give skulls for the Skull Throne, blood for the Blood God, and corn for the Corn Flakes. In this video, we'll go over the entire starting roster for the forces of Khorne, but if you're in a hurry and don't have time for a full breakdown, you can see the full roster on screen now. And while you look it over, consider subscribing to be notified about future roster reveals or even joining the Patreon to help support in their creation. Unlike previous Total War Warhammer games, the Chaos Gods will each start with one legendary lord as playable. For Khorne, that's the Bloodthirster Skarbrand, who was Khorne's favorite until he tried to take over the realm for himself and then got slapped so hard that he forgot who he was and now just wanders around angrily collecting skulls. On the battlefield, he is a ludicrous force, near impervious to magic, and a legendary commander of the demonic hordes. For unique skills, he gets Wrathful Reaper. Skarbrand, once in the midst of battle, will not be distracted and will kill until the killing is done. Nothing will stand before his fury, as well as rage embodied. All those who see the exiled one in battle are drawn to the ferocity of his combat. They will join him even if it means their death, which sounds like Skarbrand will be unbreakable in battle, and anyone within his area of influence will be as well. For regular lords, the forces of Khorne get a few more options. Exalted Bloodthirsters are the generic form of Skarbrand, and are the mightiest of all demon kind. A single entity beast that is a harbinger of bellowing death, destructive beyond telling, and lives only to slaughter, maim, and destroy everything it encounters. Standard demon stuff. Terrifying, flying, blood-filled deathbringers who lead only the mightiest of war hosts. And note right there, Skarbrand actually can't fly because of his destroyed wings, so this will be your only truly flying lord available. Heralds of Khorne. As Herald's rage grows, all nearby demons of Khorne become gripped by an irresistible fury that lends further intensity to their carnage. Those who go above and beyond the call to slaughter may be granted the Blood Throne, a mighty demon engine armored in brass and driven into battle by iron-shod wheels which crush and mangle any in their path. Heralds search for skulls who will make auspicious offerings. Those plundered from cowards are fed to the Blood Throne's baleful workings and consumed in fire to bring fresh vigor. Those taken from the valiant are claimed by the Herald and fused with the throne itself. As you may have guessed, they can either get a Juggernaut mount or a Blood Throne mount, and the Blood Throne sounds like it will have a new battle mechanic. Regular infantry consumed by the Blood Throne will help to restore its vigor, and those taken from heroes and possibly even elite units will help to possibly heal it or add additional battle effects. For heroes, you get Cultists of Khorne, a powerful sect which seems to have been founded on the rules of Fight Club. Their methods are blunt if not effective, founding illicit fighting dens and causing all-out riots in cities. Some will aspire to rise and become true champions of Khorne, but there are plenty eager supplicants who will simply wish to murder and slay in the Blood God's name. For mounts, they get the option of a Chaos Steed. Fed on a diet of human flesh and watered-down blood, these snorting, high-spirited steeds have a glint of intelligent menace in their eyes and will trample, kick, and bite as if berserk when engaged at close quarters. In Game 3, they'll also be a bit larger and look less like My Little Pony rejects. Blood Reapers are some of Khorne's most dedicated individual fighters. Each of them carries a Hell Blade, a jagged iron sword whose blackened blade glows with heinous enchantment. Each life the Blood Reaper takes fuels both its power and rage, so that Blood Reapers are even more terrifying at the battle's close than at its start. And the larger forces of Khorne use this similar mechanic, where the more they kill, the more powerful they become in battle. And if that's still not enough to crush your foes, drive them before you, and hear the lamentations of their women, you can also mount the Blood Reaper on an unstoppable Juggernaut mount, and those that make it to a high enough level can unlock the mighty Blood Throne as a mark of their status. When it comes to units, a lot of these you've seen before. Chaos Warriors of Khorne need no food, drink, or sleep. only carnage. They exist as an instrument of the Blood God's will and are unmatched fighters. They'll come in 3 variants: axe and shield, dual axes, or halberds, making them readily available tanks, anti-infantry, or anti-large depending on your needs. The Bloodletters of Khorne are the strawberry-flavored daemon horde at the core of your army. Deadly warriors who were once the foremost among the Blood God's followers in life, they are now as implacable and blood-hungry as Khorne himself. An advancing pack of Bloodletters is a fearful sight for mortal armies and will instill fear in them. They'll gain power as they continue to kill and, as with all demons, will disintegrate and flee to the Chaos realms when their leadership is broken instead of running away and routing. Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne are Khorne's chosen, the naked slayers, the takers of skulls. They're bigger, badder, and slightly more murderous, and share many of the same traits, only, stronger, more accurate, and hardier. So it's no surprising they're more expensive and also appear later in game. For cavalry options, you'll encounter Gorebeast Chariots, who are even heavier and sturdier than the warriors of Chaos Chariots you've come to know and love, and they are instead pulled by these guys, and their overly detailed butt cheeks. Gorebeast Chariots, ridden by followers of Khorne, are constantly in a frenzy from the thrill of the hunt and the kill. This puts them at a disadvantage, though, when it comes to defense, since they don't know how to defend. The cheapest option for cavalry in the army of Khorne, but still an absolute force to be reckoned with. Blood Crushers of Khorne, though, are shock cavalry. In battle, they'll hack, maim, and gore their way through even the strongest troops an enemy can muster. They're powerful, demonic, and because of that, provide additional physical resistances in battle. As demons, they are vulnerable to banishment, though, but thankfully are unable to rout. And technically, they're a demon riding another demon into battle, giving them a great demon-for-demon ratio. Skull Crushers of Khorne are murderous knights gifted with juggernauts to carry them into war. Massive demonic mounts made of living metal and pure rage, they are dealers of untold destruction who grind their foes beneath steel sinews and brass hooves. And their powerful steeds strike fear in the hearts of any enemies they encounter, because who wouldn't be terrified of one of the most powerful charges in the old world? For monsters and beasts, you have Chaos Warhounds. You're all aware of Norskin wolves and Chaos wolves, and well, this is the same thing except Khorne wolves. Chaos Furies are yowling shards of malevolent energy. Furies swarm at the edge of the battlefield, avoiding the thickest fighting if they can, and only when they sight a vulnerable victim do they descend, a wailing mass from which there is no escape. Extremely fast-moving, if lightweight flyers, they're able to deploy ahead of the front lines to harass the enemy with Vanguard deployment, and the Mark of Khorne they've been gifted gives them additional spell resistance and a more powerful charge than Furies that are in the other Chaos Gods rosters. Fleshhounds are Khorne's special brand of Chaos Warhounds. Few can survive a pursuit by these relentless carnivores, as fleshhounds are able to track and harass a foe across fen, forest, and stone without losing the scent. Unlike fleshhounds wielded by other chaos gods, the Callers of Khorne give these guys incredible spell resistance, and they really blur the line between cavalry and warhound. Spawn of Khorne prove that worshipping Khorne is a lose-lose business. Even the most celebrated Chaos Lord could find himself disfigured in an instant, his body racked by any number of debilitating mutations. Should Khorne continue to pile on his gifts, they'll devolve into mindless, hideous creatures known as Chaos Spawn, with no regard to human life and no regard for their own. Once engaged in battle and injured, they go completely berserk, and you have no further control of them. Minotaurs of Khorne, or Khornatars, charge in with thundering impact, horns lowered to impale, and then strike blow after blow against any hapless enemy they happen to encounter. They come in 2 options, dual axes and great weapons. Fueled by the scent of blood, their prowess increases with every enemy slain, like every other Khorne unit, and these Minotaurs are pledged to Khorne due to their relentless need for fresh meat. They're armored, armor-piercing, fearless, and absolutely destructive. Soul Grinders of Khorne are an unexpected surprise. When a demon's physical body is slain, he can surrender his true name to the Forge of Souls. When the Dark Bargain is sealed, his crippled essence is bound to a mighty warp metal hulk. Thus, he is reborn as a soul grinder, and it is devilishly fast for a creature its size, able to scuttle as swiftly as horses gallop, or even faster when the scent of blood touches its nostrils. They're a truly horrific amalgamation of metal and flesh that causes the terror effect on the battlefield. It can even fire its extremely powerful weaponry while on the move and charging into an enemy. They're highly resistant to both physical and magical damage and really are just incredibly difficult to kill. Bloodthirsters are roaring, snarling death riding upon Stygian wings that eclipse the sun. Their armor is seared into the demon's flesh by Khorne himself, and as such, even the suits that protect them yearn for slaughter. These guys get flaming, magical attacks that can roast men, crush large creatures, and even destroy gates. They can fly, and as one of the largest, most terrifying beasts in battle, they have the advantage on almost everything. Blood Shrines of Khorne are a carnage-fueled Daemon V8 engine. The Blood Shrine Judder spins and zooms across the battlefield at high speeds. Because Khorne couldn't have just a regular cannon, he had to attach it to a motorcycle. A massive living chariot designed to grind creatures beneath its wheels, it heals every moment it is in melee combat with the enemy. It also boosts morale for any nearby allies. Skull cannons shoot the enemy from afar and then slam into their ranks, leaving a trail of scorched and blazing bodies behind. They're Khorne's answer to battlefield artillery, and of course, still a really potent melee combat fighter. If you ever run out of ammo, you can just engage them in melee and they'll harvest skulls around them for more shots. Then pull them back out again because they can fire and move at the same time. Really, if you're looking for an army to unleash your rage and fury upon the world, just absolute total destruction, and burn it all to the ground, Khorne is your army. But what do you think about the forces of Khorne, and what future legendary lords would you like to see join them? Stay tuned on this channel for future roster reveals, which were teased at the end of Total War's blog post that promised delights and mysteries in the weeks to come, undoubtedly referring to Slaanesh and Tzeentch coming up next. But until then, as always, thanks for watching.